book people out there, it is Wednesday and it is a great comic book day. Let me show you what I got. First up is Star Wars, issue number 26. C-3PO has been taken by the Scar Squadron, and R2-D2 is going to rescue him alone. But the main story starts up a bit of a backstory on Yoda, which takes place before episode 1. That's probably what I'm more interested in than anything else. Next, Civil War 2, issue number 8. This is the finale to this series. I went in originally thinking this was going to be a great series, and I did like the first couple of issues, but this just ended on a very meh level. Marvel loves to do the big epic crossovers, and at this point I'm a bit tired of it, and I feel like they need to let it cool down for just a little bit. There will be consequences from this story that's going to be disseminated into some of the other titles that are coming out. One of which is Hulk, issue number 1. This is Jennifer Walters, who used to be known as She-Hulk, but now she's just Hulk. If you're not aware of this, Jennifer Walters' cousin, Bruce Banner, was killed in the Civil War II storyline. She was nearly killed herself. When she woke up from her injury, she found out that not only was her cousin killed, but he was killed by one of her former teammates, Hawkeye. And she did not take that very well. Being that the word Hulk is in her name, it looks as though we're going to be looking at a much more aggressive Jennifer Walters than what we've seen in the past. Although originally she was known as the Savage She-Hulk, and she was much more aggressive, but let's ignore that for now. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corp, issue number 11. The Green Lantern Corp and some of the Sinestro Corps have been taken into a city shrunken down by a brainiac who is being controlled by Larfleeze. We haven't seen him in a long time. At first Larfleeze was a serious threat, then later on he became much more of a joke. It feels as though they're trying to make him back into a threat level again, but still kind of keep some of the comical aspect put in there. Spider-Man issue number 11. The main focus of this book is based much more on Miles Morales' father, Jefferson, who happens to be an inactive S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, but it looks as though he may not be inactive anymore. Wonder Woman issue number 13. After finding out that maybe her entire past could be a lie, Wonder Woman doesn't really take it too well. She appears to be losing her sanity a bit, and Steve Trevor tries to help her as much as he can. And it ends on a very surprising note. Hopefully in the next couple issues we'll start to get some answers as to what happened. Batman Beyond issue number 3. Terry McGinnis has infiltrated the Joker's gang by pretending that he's Matches Malone's kid. He's attempting to rescue his kinda sorta love interest Dana Tan. However, the big thing that happens at the end was a huge revelation. Something that I wasn't expecting, but I'm very excited for in the next issue. The last comic book I had a chance to read was Detective Comics number 947. This is the conclusion to the Victim Syndicate storyline. I have a huge love-hate relationship with Detective Comics. I originally started to read this title again after Rebirth with the hopes that Tim Drake was going to be written in a way where a lot of fans could relate to him again rather than the way he was written in the New 52 universe. But then immediately he was captured and put into limbo where the rest of the world, including the world's greatest detective, thinks that he's dead. To be honest, I wasn't even into the Victim Syndicate storyline. I feel as though it was written just specifically to try to get Spoiler off of the Batman team. So that's 2 members of the team that are no longer regulars. The saving grace of this issue is the last 3 pages. We finally get a glimpse about what happened to Tim Drake and where he's at. But just a glimpse. We don't get any explanation as to what's happening or who else is with him at this point. We know that Mr. Oz is the one that captured him, but that's about it. He is my favorite character, and I feel like it really sucks we only get 3 pages of seeing the real Tim Drake in action, but at this point I'll take it. All I can do is hope that he'll play an integral part in the overall Rebirth storyline eventually in the next couple years when it's finally concluded. I keep hoping that we'll get glimpses of some of the other characters locked up with Tim, like maybe Bart Allen or Con-El. It would be so cool if we had some sort of Young Justice Rebirth story that took place. It's more likely that he's probably locked up with other versions of himself, but still I can hope. But anyways, I talked about that way too much. The next storyline is going to be focused on Batwoman, and we probably won't see the real Tim Drake again for another 7 issues or so. So that's my comic load for this week. I also got the book Love is Love. This is a collaboration between IDW and DC Comics that celebrates the LGBTQ community. But I'll talk about that in a separate video. It really does deserve its own video to be talked about. It's really cute, it's very heartfelt, and I loved everything that I've read so far. It's also quite long though. It's 144 pages. I've only gone through the first 20 or so. But with that, thank you guys for joining me in this video. Be sure to check out my Patreon site when you get a chance. Check out my website, my social media sites, and everything else out there. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. Since there's a 3rd season of the Young Justice cartoon being made, it makes so much sense to have a Young Justice comic book being done too. There's already a huge fan base for it, so come on DC, wake up, do this comic book.